Hey everyone, welcome back to another product vlog. In this video we will be spending our last 2 days in Japan and visiting Nara and Osaka before heading back home. In Nara we will be at Nara Park, walking among the local deer population before going to the nearby Todaiji Temple. In Osaka we will be visiting Osaka Castle before heading to Dotonbori to enjoy some of the local food over there. It was bittersweet, but it was also memorable. Before we get started with the day in Nara, I did want to show what me and my family ate when we came back to Kyoto Station after spending the day in Hiroshima. The place is called KYK Tonkatsu, which is located in the Kyoto Porta Mall underneath Kyoto Station. As you can tell by the name, it is definitely well known for their tonkatsu, which is a pork cutlet that has been breaded in panko breadcrumbs and deep fried until GBD, golden, brown, and delicious. It was really crispy, crunchy, and super juicy, as tonkatsu should be. I also like the side dishes that came with it, especially the cabbage salad, which balances out the tonkatsu. Yeah, pretty much.
How are you gonna do that thing where we pass around the camera?
And now let's begin the vlog with our day trip to Nara. Since Nara is a city close by and 43 minutes away from Kyoto, we take the JR Kyoto line all the way to Nara. I do like the JR Kyoto lines a lot as they are very convenient to ride not just to cities like Nara, but also to cities such as Osaka, which have services such as a special rapid service which makes only a few stops at stations such as Shin Osaka and Takasuki, cutting the time from Kyoto to Osaka in 25 minutes. Although there are no such services for Nara, I think the train ride is still very convenient and warm since it was a bit cold during that day. Once we arrive in Nara Station, we then take the Nara City bus all the way to Nara Park, which takes about 10 minutes. Nara Park, or Todaiji Park, is one of the must-go-to destinations when visiting Nara. Created in 1880, it is home to over 1,500 deer and the Todaiji Buddhist temple nearby. The deer in the park have been considered national treasures, being allowed to roam around the park freely where tourists are able to interact and feed them. The deer here are very special as, according to legend, the deer are the offspring of a sacred white deer from Kashima Shrine in Ibaraki Prefecture, and are considered messengers of the gods. What I did immediately notice was that they were not as aggressive as the deer in Hiroshima, which made it easier to get close to them. We continue walking towards Todaiji Temple, but stop by Nandaimon Gate on the way. Nandaimon Gate houses two massive statues, known as Kongo Rikishi, which are regarded as two of the finest wooden sculptures in Japan. We finally head to Todaiji Temple. Built in 741 by Emperor Shomu as a central temple in all of Japan, this site was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1998 and is one of the main attractions of Japan. It houses the Daibutsuden, which is the world's largest wooden structure to house the world's largest Buddhist statue. Just like Hyumizudera Temple in Kyoto, it uses wooden crossing beams interlocked with each other without the use of a single nail. One of the wooden pillars in Todaiji Temple contains a small hole large enough for people to crawl through. It is said those who can crawl through the hole are able to have their prayers answered and receive enlightenment. You can basically see how me and my cousins were able to crawl through without any effort.
Huh?
Salty là.
This one? Yeah.
Allez, Susan.
After spending time at Nara Park and snacking on some mitarashi dango, we head over to Higashimuki Shopping Street and have some udon at Udon Mugi no Kura. The chef in that location adjusts the cooking time based on the weather and temperature in Nara to ensure customers have the best bowl of udon there is. The chef was definitely right to go with this method, as the udon was definitely delicious. The udon was fresh, chewy, and went really well with the toppings and side dishes they were served with. We then slowly make our way back to Nara Station, but on the way I wanted to get a small snack at Melon de Melon, where they specialize in making fresh melon pan or melon bread. Melon pan doesn't have any melons in it, but it is shaped like one with its cookie-like exterior with crisscross patterns. Since this was my first melon pan in Japan, I had to get the original, which was super warm, crispy and sweet on the outside, and soft and fluffy on the inside. It was really delicious and I enjoyed every single bite of it. We then head back to Kyoto Station for dinner, where we go to the soba restaurant called Tagoro. One of their specialty dishes is this curry soba topped with tempura. It was a hearty dish and very filling, although I think it could have been a little better honestly, as the curry was average and the soba was a bit on the soggy side. Still, I think it was a decent meal to end the day.
We're also kind of sick of eating soba a little bit, so we're trying to find something that's like different. Apple tea.
Actually, do you think they would get like that if we just brought out water?
Overall, I think we had a pretty good day in Nara, and coincidentally it was Christmas Eve, so definitely a day well spent. While Nara is a small town, it was still very exciting to spend some time at Nara Deer Park, and I enjoyed interacting with the deer a lot. They were very peaceful and didn't attempt to grab any food from me or my family, and it was very easy getting close to them. I'll definitely miss Nara. It's a city you don't want to miss if any of you go to Japan. It is now our final day in Japan, and also Christmas Day, so what better way to spend it than going to Osaka? We take the JR Special Rapid Service line, also known as the Tokaido Sanyo line, where we take a 30-minute ride from Kyoto Station all the way to Osaka Umeda Station. From there, we take the Osaka Loop line, where we arrive at Osaka Castle. And here it is, Osaka Castle. This famous landmark is rich in history. Built on the former site of Ishiyama Honganji Temple, which was destroyed by Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi built this castle as a center of power to unify all of Japan. It was the biggest castle during that time and heavily guarded to prevent attackers from breaching it. Despite this though, many battles took place here, which resulted in the castle being destroyed by Tokugawa Ieyasu in 1615 during the second siege of Osaka Castle and brought upon the dawn of the Tokugawa shogunate. It was later rebuilt, but its main tower was struck by lightning in 1665 and destroyed again in 1868, before finally being rebuilt into the castle we now see today in modern-day Osaka. I was here back in 2016 during a day trip to Osaka with my parents and grandparents. I even got the opportunity to go inside the castle, all the way up to the main tower to see Osaka skyline. This time though, we didn't go inside the castle as the line was very long and we had other destinations to go to. However, admission is pretty good as it only costs 600 yen for adults and free of charge for children 15 years old or younger. After spending time at Osaka Castle, we head to Tanimachi 4 Chome Station where we take the Chuo line to Homachi Station. From there we switch trains and take the Midosuji line to Namba Station, which takes us all the way to Dotonbori. Dotonbori was a place that I dreamed of going to when I visited Osaka for the first time. However, I was unable to go in 2016 due to time constraints. Now, here I was on the streets of one of the best tourist hotspots, which has an incredible history for being an entertainment district back then, and has since evolved into this vibrant neon illuminated cityscape where people can come to mingle, eat, drink, and shop. Since Dotonbori is the best place to get food, we head to one of the restaurants there to have some lunch, Kriya-Ru. Kriya-Ru is a restaurant that specializes in Osaka-style okonomiyaki. In a previous Japan vlog, I've mentioned the difference between Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki and Osaka-style okonomiyaki, where Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki has the ingredients cooked separately and served with soba noodles. Meanwhile, Osaka-style okonomiyaki has the ingredients mixed and cooked together. It is also topped with bonito flakes. In addition to the okonomiyaki, we got some takoyaki as well. I did like the okonomiyaki. It was really crispy and tender, and the toppings we ordered to complement the okonomiyaki made it very tasty. While the okonomiyaki was good, in my opinion I prefer Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki because I like how all the ingredients are stacked on top of each other. You get different flavors and textures with each bite, whereas Osaka-style okonomiyaki, all those flavors get combined at once. How about you let me know in the comment section below what style of okonomiyaki you all like.
No.
After lunch, we walk around Dotonbori for a while, then head to Minami Senba to this cafe called the Happy Pancake to try Japanese souffle pancakes. It's something I've been wanting to try in Japan during the trip. Now you might be asking how Japanese pancakes differ from your typical pancake. The difference between regular pancakes and Japanese pancakes are that Japanese pancakes are more fluffy, thanks to the separation of egg whites from the yolks, and use no baking powder at all. The egg whites are beaten until they form stiff peaks and mixed into the pancake batter, forming the super fluffy pancake that does resemble soufflés in terms of texture. At a Happy Pancake, my cousins and I got their berry pancakes, which we all shared. The pancakes were decent but very fluffy, airy, and delicious. They did have this custardy texture which I also liked, and I did love the berry sauce and cream that came with it. It complemented the pancakes very well. While I wouldn't say Happy Pancake is the best place to get Japanese pancakes, I did enjoy the experience a lot, and I think this place is a great option if you're looking to try Japanese pancakes for the first time. Since it started getting dark, we take the Yotsubashi line all the way back to Umeda, where we stop by Umakita Ship Hall, which has been decorated for the holiday season. To end our day in Osaka, we go to a Chazuke restaurant called Dashi Chazuke Inn, which is nearby Umakita Ship Hall at Eki Marche in Shinosaka. Just like the Chazuke I had in Shinjuku, it is eaten the same way where you take some of the rice with the toppings and mix it with hot dashi broth. It was a very nice and light meal that we had before we began the long trip back home tomorrow. Overall, I enjoyed spending Christmas Day in Osaka. It was such a memorable experience to revisit Osaka Castle and finally set foot in Dotonbori for the first time. However, I feel like I've only reached the tip of the iceberg when it came to visiting Osaka, as there are so many other places that I've yet to see with my own eyes. Hopefully in the future, I'm able to spend more time in Osaka and explore many of its wonders. It is now finally time to go home after an amazing 12 days in Japan. We are heading back to Tokyo via the Tokaido Shinkansen, which will take us to Shinagawa Station. From there, we take the Keikyu Airport line to get to Haneda Airport. It was a bit sad and bittersweet because this is my last Shinkansen ride that I got to experience. At least during the ride I got to enjoy some ekiben, which are packed lunches served at train stations. I definitely enjoyed this beef rice ekiben here because it reminded me of a scene from one of my favorite animes, Demon Slayer, where Rengoku loudly says delicious while eating a similar beef rice ekiben. The rest of the ride was pretty quiet as the Shinkansen sped through places we've seen when we first took the train from Tokyo to Kyoto, especially Mount Fuji, which we got one last look at. 2 hours later, we finally arrived back in Tokyo where we take the Keikyu line to the airport. Once we make it to the airport, we check our luggage in and go through security, then head to our gate where we wait for a few hours to board our plane. In the meantime, we have one last meal in Japan at Rokurensha, a joint at Haneda Airport that specializes in making tsukemen noodles. Tsukemen noodles are completely different from ramen because the noodles are served separately from the soup. The noodles are thicker and chewier to allow the noodles to absorb more of the soup, and the soup is more reduced and concentrated than ramen broth, sort of like a sauce. When eaten together though, it tastes absolutely delicious and the flavor contrasts to ramen by a milestone. It's definitely got more umami to it. After a few hours, it is now time to board our plane. The plane we are flying on is an American Airlines Boeing 787-8, flight number AA26. I've flown on American Airlines a few times to and from destinations, and my experience with the airline was pretty decent. It's not really an amazing airline, but it is good enough to get me to where I need to go. The seats were somewhat comfortable, had some good cushioning, and decent legroom, although a bit crampy at some times. The in-flight entertainment system was also very easy to navigate, and worked pretty well during the entirety of the flight, so I'll give props to American Airlines for that. The flight from Haneda to LAX will approximately be 9 to 10 hours. It's also an overnight flight, so we'll be arriving at LAX around midday. Shortly after takeoff, the flight attendants began serving dinner. The choices they offered were shrimp pasta and ginger pork rice. Both were served with a cabbage salad, a Japanese-style seaweed salad, a lemon cake, and a bread roll. I did get the ginger pork rice, and I'll admit after the first bite, it was okay. Nothing really special or tasty. The shrimp pasta though was a bit better, although kind of oily, which is all I can really say. Later on during the flight, breakfast was served. The option I went with was stir-fried udon with 2 shrimp and pork dumplings, served with some fruit. Again, the food was alright, nothing really tasty or anything. Shortly after breakfast was done, the plane soared into Los Angeles, where I got a glimpse of some familiar sights as the plane descended into LAX and eventually landed. I was finally home after a long and amazing trip to Japan. My trip to Japan was fun while it lasted. I still couldn't believe that I was able to visit Tokyo for the first time and got to explore some of the most famous landmarks there. It felt so amazing to walk across Shibuya Crossing, visit Sensoji Temple during Hagoita Ichi, get a tour of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, and celebrate the holiday season at Shibuya Blue Cave Illumination. Hakone was also memorable for the cable car ride and the picturesque mountainside scenery. I wish I could have spent more time there as there was so much to do. Kyoto was nostalgic as I got to climb up Fushimi Inari Taisha and walk around Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, which I did back in 2017. We also got the chance to visit other places I got to see for the first time, such as Niho Castle, Kiyomizu-dera Temple, Tenryuji Temple, and Kinkakuji Temple, which were also equally memorable. Hiroshima and Nara were also fun, especially interacting with the deer roaming around in both places, and occasionally acting aggressive. To top it off, Osaka was also nostalgic when I briefly visited Osaka Castle and got to visit Dotonbori for the first time. I was able to go to so many different places in Japan, and it's something I will never forget. I also want to mention that we have passed 100 subscribers on YouTube, which I want to thank my viewers for contributing to this channel, as without all of you, I don't think we would have made it this far, and I hope to continue growing this channel with the content I create. So until the next video or vlog, this is Bodark signing off for now. Have a good day.